Hello and welcome to an Arena FPS interview video with the TurboPixel Studio devs. Very exciting. We did this once before, about November 2015, and now we're doing a post-release kind of catch-up to see what's going on and ask some questions. So, today I'm with Shooter, Electro and Yasashi. And how's it going, guys? How are you guys doing on this wonderful morning?
Yeah, good, really good. Fresh. Which is totally the opposite of what I said just before we started. I was really tired, but now I'm good.
Excellent.
I'm good now.
Well, I'll start with the first question, and it is basically congratulations with the release. Like I was saying just before, we did that interview like a year ago, and it's kind of like, I feel like it's a long journey to get here, right?
Very
long journey. Oh, yes.
So long.
I guess you probably decided fairly recently the release. Or when was that for a start?
We decided probably about 6 months ago
Okay.
or something. Probably even longer. Yeah, people just seem to think it's like, oh, we'll flip a switch. Sure, why not? This release can be the release and just drop a bomb.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. You need to assemble the bomb, buy all the parts from the appropriate locations. And yeah, a lot of work went into planning and getting it all together.
Yeah, awesome. And kind of, was there a change in mindset when you were like, okay, we're releasing now? Because I assume maybe it's not a kind of a relaxed atmosphere, continued development, but you're working to a deadline for the first time. You've got to kind of hit this thing. Was that change the feeling in the TurboPixel Studio camp?
Yes and no. Like, we have updates so often. It's like, I think every month or something. We try not to sit on a feature or like a bunch of features for too long, and every feature's like a milestone for us, so it's like a constant push. It's
forever
like,
working to a deadline.
Yeah,
Really?
so having the launch out of early access was just like another bigger one, because we know we wanted to get that right, because they'd be bringing in a whole bunch of new customers, new members of the community and everything, and wanted to make sure that, you know, the first experience for a lot of fresh players goes pretty smoothly. And just like with any release, it's like, yeah, there's hiccups and stuff, but through early access we ironed out a lot of stuff, so it's actually pretty good. I've worked in studios, like big name studios, where our releases haven't gone as smooth. So it's alright.
Awesome. Kind of as an entire dev cycle, as a game from start to finish, how do you feel about it? Like, any massive regrets or any kind of things that you're really happy with?
Well, there's no finish. Like, we haven't finished. We've just... It's like, I don't know how we'd word. Like, we worded it launching out of early access because we didn't want to use the word finish because we're still going.
Yeah.
It's just... It was the first time that we'd actually, besides Kickstarter, actually reached out to put the word out. Like, everything through early access and whatever is just word of mouth and Steam and, you know, the occasional Reddit post or whatever. It's, yeah, really the community's been doing the word of mouth stuff for like 2 years.
Yeah.
We haven't done any push, and this was our first push.
Cool.
But to actually answer your question, it's going pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So last time we spoke, there was a kind of a feeling I got across from the interview that you were very much intending on taking kind of an old genre, an old game in particular, and reinvigorating it with new features like social features. Matchmaking is one of them that recently got added, and like cosmetics, all these new things. Is there anything in that regard, kind of new Web 3.0 or whatever you want to call it, features that you feel like you've not been able to implement yet and you still want to? And how do you feel about the features that you have implemented?
To be honest, there's always more stuff we can implement. Like, you can improve any game forever. But really, I'm really quite happy with all the stuff we've got in there. Like, we wanted to get the workshop integration in, we wanted to get friends, wanted to get matchmaking, party queuing, all this stuff we wanted, and like, we ticked a lot of those boxes. Really quite happy with how it went, to be perfectly honest.
Other of the other guys want to weigh in?
Yeah. Much the same answer. Right? There's always more we can do, but what we've done so far with the team we have is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, insanity is a good way to put it. For me, like starting out as a like I originally started out mapping for Quake and Duke Nukem 3D and all the old school stuff. For me, having the level editor with that quick turnaround was a big feature that I wanted to get going first. And to this day, I'm still happy with. It's like yeah, it might be one of the probably longest neglected features that we've got, but it's also the most used. It's like, you know, having 400 maps. Or I don't even know what the count is at now.
700-ish?
Oh shit, I was
Last
a bit
time
off.
I checked.
Can we beep that out or yeah, whatever?
That's a lot of maps.
So yeah, it's a lot of maps. And like people that I guess would like typically avoid having to, you know, go and search for some obscure tool to download to learn that and compiling and then waiting and then that whole process. Just the fact that we got rid of that was like a huge milestone. Yeah, I'm still happy with that.
Well, that was another feature I think that wasn't really finished last time we did the interview. I think that's really been the emphasis on development since the past interview, since 2015, is kind of bringing these new features, because the gameplay in the game it's been updated a bit, but I feel like most of the major development has been on things like the matchmaking, the new replay editor and features like that. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like if you were to plot probably the work against particular features or whatever, then yeah, map editor is probably the most stable, the gameplay is the most stable, and everything else has had like massive spikes in development.
So next up, art. About the last time we did the last interview, I think that's when the artistic vision was kind of settled upon, because I know for a while in early access development it was changing a little bit what you wanted to do with the art.
You mean that's when we deleted all our textures?
Yeah, basically. That's a nice way of putting it. Right?
Yeah.
And basically, since then, a lot of work's been done. You've done all the weapons and lots of new models and cosmetics as well. Is there anything still in that regard that you want to freshen up? For example, some of the original animations for the bolt rifle, the beam. I believe that's the same since the very first release, right? I don't think that's been touched.
Yeah, I think it's about 4 polygons with a texture that goes across them that blurs over time.
Beautiful.
That's about it. Yeah. The fact that I can explain the entire effect in like one sentence means that, yeah, it's probably due for something. But yeah, like animations and the effect system are like 2 big things, like from an art standpoint, that I want to revamp.
Okay.
And yeah, we've got some big, exciting, top secret hype features that we can actually, well, I don't know why I call it hype features, but it's more like when features, but yeah, we can't hype it because I want to have that as a big surprise.
Okay, so it's definitely still a consideration to improve that aspect of the game.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Oh, awesome. That's really exciting.
Yeah, and with the effect system, I'm looking forward to like giving it a full revamp, adding new effects and stuff, but having improved performance as well. There's a lot I want to do with it.
And in that line of thought, cosmetics is something we've seen in this release patch kind of updated quite a lot. There was all the new samurai cosmetics and the different heads, which are pretty cool. Are we expecting to see quite a few more things along the cosmetic line now that the game is out? Because I feel like that is going to be quite a big source of revenue for you guys, having cool stuff on the marketplace you can buy and trade, and things you can earn through competitive points.
I'm going to keep plugging away at those for forever. Like there's a huge thread just with requests for days that I can just work on for ages. Like it's always fun playing around with new stuff like that. And the animal stuff just started out as mucking around really, and then kind of got out of hand, and I got carried away with it. But
before we knew it, we had an Australian kangaroo in there.
And I think the samurai set is kind of the first full set of something outside of the robotic theme. Are we expecting to see like more themed sets like that?
Yeah, I'd like to do it. It's just the initial ones were kind of by visibility kind of stuff. But I think we've got a bit more room to move.
A bit more adventurous now.
Yeah, that's it. And I've got a couple of full sets that I want to do, but I haven't done art in so long.
Yeah.
I've been strapped doing every other thing. So, yeah. be good to get back in and do some of those.
Cool. And what is the... this might be a ignorant question, but what's the significance behind the purple tag to the samurai set? Is it rarity?
Yeah, rarity.
Okay.
So I think those are rare and purchasable, and then there's a blue tag that's just drop only. It's like really rare shit.
Okay.
Which is just the Tech Katana and the Angry Droid Head at the moment.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. Like we're like, oh, we'll put this at just like probably a 1% chance, and then as soon as we release it, someone's got it already. We're like, man, that ain't right. That's wrong. There's got to be a bug, and there's already pictures out there. I'm like, oh man. But then, like to this day, there's still probably only like half a dozen people total that have the Angry Droid Head. So. But I think the first one I saw was like, as soon as we put it out.
Instantly.
Biggest luck.
Matchmaking. So, really big addition to the game. And basically, how do you feel about the implementation, the introduction? One of the first times it's really been brought to an arena FPS game in kind of a major sense. Yeah, how do you feel about it?
I feel good, man. I really like it. I wanted to do matchmaking for a couple of years now. It was always on the table. We never really could get to it, but now that it's done, yeah, very happy with how it's turned out. People are loving it. The games are popping quickly. It's just, yeah, it's doing really well. We did have a few, I guess, teething issues at the start with things popping when they shouldn't and people getting thrown in games when they shouldn't, but they got cleaned up pretty quickly. And, yeah, really happy with how it went. I think we can go really far from here as well. Like, it's quite easy to put the online ladder in and the match history in. We can expand on them in the near future, and yeah, very, very happy with it, to be honest.
That was a kind of a follow-up point I wanted to ask is, with the online ladder, there only shows I think it's the top 50 players. Is this kind of something you want to improve upon in the future? Kind of to expand that to include more of the player base?
Oh, we could show every player if everyone wanted that. I thought top 50 was kind of exclusive to actually get in the top 50.
I want to see where I am. I want to see where me down the bottom is.
Find his name.
I don't want to improve. I just want to be included.
I don't think. It's like, if we add that feature, do you really want to know what your number is? That's the real question.
Yeah, it's interesting. We could definitely look at that.
It's an interesting thought, especially when there's lots of newer people in the scene and playing matchmaking, and it's kind of a nice feeling to see yourself climb up from the bottom to the top. It's got that kind of nice, like Rocky Balboa moment where you start off and you go through all this training and you slowly eke up the ranks.
You kind of get that with your rank actually changing there. You go from silver to gold to moving up that ladder. That's kind of interesting. I think we can look at that in the future. Okay,
cool. You mentioned the teething issues. Do you want to elaborate on that much more? Was it all just bug things, or was there anything actually functional from the matchmaking that you're like, oh, we shouldn't have done it like that?
A bit of both. Like, it took a while to work out how much to adjust elo, so how quickly to go up and down the ladder, and Turbo Q was interesting. Turbo Q is a feature I really wanted to do just because we have a lesser player count than some other titles, so we wanted to try to make it easier to find a game, and I think it's a really cool feature, but then people are abusing it, so just fixing that up, and wrote a big post up about how all that works. What were some other things? Oh, good one, we had like a 4v4 game pop, and then it put 3 people on one team and 5 on the other. fun stuff like this.
GG.
Yeah, mostly little bug fixes, to be honest. We are working on drop in and drop out now, which has been pretty highly requested, mainly for casual modes, because no one likes the 3-player free-for-alls, which is totally fair, but that's just how it works, As soon as there's a game ready, off you go. And then less people, it pops quickly. So we want to have it so if there's a game running already that you can fit in, boom, it'll put you straight in there. So that should increase the player counts in free-for-all rather drastically, I think.
Yeah, there's been times where we've seen like three free-for-alls going in a region, or 4 or whatever, and they've each got 3 players, and like, oh, that'd be a pretty amazing 12-player match.
Yeah.
Everyone in it together.
I think that'll work. And also, like, filling up spots. So, you're playing a doubles casual game and someone drops out, you want someone else to come in to help you. You don't want to just play 1v2 for the rest of the game.
Right.
So it's a lot of little polished things like this with on the radar. They're kind of getting done now, sorry.
And kind of a follow-up from that is generally these days games have very few different options when you want to play Overwatch, for example. I think there's only like one mode you queue up for, and it's like casual or ranked. And there's in Reflex quite a few different game modes that you can queue up for. Is there any thought that this might be to the detriment of people not being able to get CTF games because there are not enough people queue for it at the same time? Whereas, especially in casual, if you could have a combined CTF and TDM queue, then and it just picks a random game mode, do you think that might be an opportunity for more people to try out different modes?
Definitely.
I'm glad you asked about that one, actually. Like the
I think we're
CTF
both
thing's,
thinking the same thing. Yeah.
yeah, well, yeah. The CTF thing's kind of frustrating. If you queue, you load the game up, you queue everything. I want to play the first thing that pops. Of course, a duel's going to pop first because it only requires 2 people. It's really as simple as that. If you want to play CTF, just queue CTF. It's simple as that. But we're talking about displaying on the screen how many players you need to finish that thing you've queued for, so you can see that, I only need 2 more people to play CTF, and you can go to Discord and get your friends to pop in or whatever.
Okay.
It's also interesting to
It'll
note
give people
Overwatch-
a bit more incentive to like queue for something if they can see there's only a couple of people still needed.
Yeah.
It's like, if you jump in and you were going to do a 1v1 or a 2 or play doubles, and it's like, CTF needs 1 more. It's like, am I going to be stubborn and just still play doubles or try and play doubles? Or, if the possibility for CTF's there, like, I think a lot of people will jump at it.
Okay.
I believe Overwatch have multiple things as well, don't they? Like, they have the quick play, but don't they also have like 3v3 and dual modes and things like this you can queue for?
Yeah, I suppose they do, but I'm saying that they don't split up the two different game modes, the capture the point and the push the cart thing. Both of those different game modes kind of within the same queue.
I thought you could go like, I'll check that out.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
pretty sure
they've got an arcade mode where it's split into sub game modes and stuff. So that they've definitely got
Okay.
yeah,
going
exactly.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time they've got I don't know how many players,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very different number.
and people still rage, so can't win.
Yeah, you can never win. I'm talking about people raging. At popular request, I had a few people ask me when I said that I'm going to be doing this interview about, CTF as well, like we just discussed, but also Race is a game mode which is fair to say I don't think been implemented on much in the past year or two. Are there any plans to improve these 2 game modes, kind of a actual gameplay mechanic perspective, or even adding a rank ladder for Race in the same way that you have the rank ladder for the duel and 2v2?
Yeah, we want to do the ladders and stuff and bring Race up to speed. That sounds a bit cheesy. But, there's stuff that we want to do for Race, CTF, team games, and stuff in general, that's just going to affect everything across the board. It's just a matter of prioritizing and fitting that in that pipeline versus demand. It's like this delicate blob of a roadmap. People want a roadmap, but it's it couldn't be more liquid.
Right.
Then it's a tricky one. But there's definitely stuff we want to do for that.
So there is a roadmap, but it's in a kind of a sense that you aren't necessarily planning exactly when things are going to be implemented. I'm not going to ask in detail, but
he's turning this into roadmap when. Yeah. It's
But basically, what I'm saying is kind of the roadmap is more flexible in your minds, and kind of needing to fit what you want to do next based on it's more of a feature list. Okay.
If we made a roadmap like a traditional dev, like we're in a studio, we're in our little bubble, ignore everyone that's out there and just do what we wanted. It's a whole bunch of production would have gone faster because we do things in the logical order.
Yeah.
But the whole way through, we're people really want this. And it's it's not really good for the game now. It's we really need this animation system, but people really want this game mode. And it's okay, so we'll squeeze that in. We'll let that feature slip. Or, it's a constant fight, struggle, however you want to word it. It's like that, but across thousands of features, the whole way through.
So you're kind of saying that roadmaps work much better in a situation where it's not a live development, which is being couldn't be played by the actual player base. If you're able to shut down the game for a year or two, and then you could implement a roadmap and work to that. But obviously, that's not.
Absolutely.
Not
Like if
something
we were,
that can be done.
Yeah.
if we just had like a really tight group of like half a dozen people, it's like that's our testing, and just abandon early access, when we're on it, and just only do streams or only do questions or post the occasional thing. It's like, yeah, you work in a bubble, you just do whatever you want, and people get stuff when they get it. It's like, but when we're putting out releases in the public, it's a very different kettle of fish.
Okay.
And I think if we weren't to respond to what people wanted, things wouldn't have gone well at all.
And also, within the kind of the vein of other games which are having this closed development, we have Quake Champions coming out, which is kind of, I guess, news to you guys as much as it was to us last year. And also we've got Diabotical that's on the scene now, and UT's obviously still chugging along, and they've just picked up a esports team of all things, which was a surprise to me. What are your thoughts about Reflex in this new kind of more complex arena FPS genre, that there's a lot more kind of eyeballs on the genre, a lot more people interested in Quake, I've noticed recently, but at the same time there's more competition in the market?
I'm going to sit this one back. I'm going to talk last this time because I feel like I'm talking the whole time.
In my opinion, to be honest, I'm pretty excited to see what all these projects come up with. Like, I am a gamer as well. I'm not just a developer. I like playing other games and seeing what people are coming up with, and yeah, I'm generally excited.
I only played Minesweep before this.
Yeah, I'm really quite happy with what we've come up with, and I think we've delivered a solid classic arena shooter. And yeah, I'm interested to seeing when these other titles deliver.
Well, it's much the same answer. We haven't seen a lot from anyone else. I mean, personally, we offer a lot of freedom that other people really can't throw out there.
Fog Seavar comes to mind. What is it coming up?
Oh boy,
I've not seen another game with the Fog Seavar. Like,
You're right there.
But yeah, like I think it's really great that like there's a whole bunch of products, trying to breathe more life into the whole genre. And I'm sure you do as well. Like you're based around arena FPS, and it's like there's this massive sudden, well, it seems very sudden resurgence of arena FPS. And like when we started, there was nothing. That was like our main reason for starting. It's like, oh, there's nothing new, nothing to play. It's like, screw it, why not make something? Yeah, we're happy with the direction and our features and stuff, and like, we've still got stuff that hasn't been done in the genre that we've got planned that's coming up. I don't want to say it because spoilers.
Okay.
But yeah, it's really cool to see, like, especially like the big players come out. Especially like with Epic and id Software, it's like that's where they. Well, not necessarily where they started, because I know Epic started with like a pinball game and all sorts of weird stuff. And there was Commander Keen, but it's like, what they're known for is like their massive core game. It's like going back to their roots kind of thing in that regard is really cool to see.
And in terms of like where you see your guys in this scene, I kind of picked up on the fact that you think that, you've got the flexibility in the game that you can allow the users to choose what they want. Kind of with Foxy, obviously, and other features.
Yeah.
Apart from that, is like there anything that you really think kind of what's a marketing thing? USP, is it core USB? What are you offering to the scene that you think the other games can't offer? Basically,
you mean other things in this genre?
In
or
the genre,
like
yeah.
The real time like map editor again is like crazy, and like there's nothing else out right now that does that. Especially with the whole workshop integration with it all. I don't know any other game where I can just like start a match or even vote a match that's on one of 700 apparently levels. It's like, yeah, there's ones that aren't so good, but from that massive amount, you need to hit that critical mass in order to get your couple of dozen really good gems. I stand by that, and like all the modern features that we've brought, with all that integration is, yeah. I don't know of anything else that's out right now that's got the feature set that we've got.
And it might be worth saying as well that you guys are really going for this core classic experience, where some people on the internet are deriding Quake champions for picking this champion route and trying to do things differently. Whereas I think Reflex, to speak from my own perspective, offers something which is a very classic, and you know what you're getting into with the gameplay.
Yeah, that's
do you want to elaborate on that at all?
Yeah, there's it's. I feel for id Software in that regard. Like, you can see that it's like, yes, they needed to add something because otherwise it's just going to be, Quake 3, and there's already Quake 3, Quake Live, and everything in between that's like already done that. So there's the people that need something new, and from a marketing standpoint, they need to say that there's something new, but they don't want to say that it's too new because that'll scare off the old people. So it's like this marketing time bomb type thing that's really delicate. But it's like, while there is that whole new aspect and new features and little things that they need to like kind of twist to take a fresh spin on it a little bit, at the same time there's the old core stuff that really like is still in their game, is still in our game, that's just been built upon and built around. It's just a matter of, have people experienced this? It's like, well, the first Quake stuff came out, like it's 15 years ago type thing. And there's an entire generation, like there's people that are pro gamers, like teenagers or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, there's a teenager that's 15 years old. It's like when I first started out, sitting at home, playing, grinding away and stuff. 15 years is like his entire lifespan. There has not been an arena FPS. That is a new player that's up for grabs. Like, even though Reflex might just be at its core what the original core gameplay was, it's new to so many people. Like, it's been so long since there's been anything, so yeah, it's all new to them.
Cool. Anybody else want to chip in, or should we move on?
I think
I
Ben
think
summed
covered
it
it
up
pretty
nicely.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks, Ben.
So,
Oh yeah, no worries.
coming to a close now, what's been your kind of proudest moment in development? Is a single moment or even a period where you're like, oh, what's going on is really cool right now. It's amazing seeing all these people playing the game that we put together. Does anything really kind of sit out in your mind?
Community. I love the community.
Jesus.
Just seeing people excited to play and enjoying the game, man. Like, there's a lot of activity at the moment. Lots of streams going, and people are loving it. That's awesome.
Seeing some people come out the
Yeah,
woodwork, like DDK and other players.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, it's good to see him picking it up, and like, from Quake World roots, it's like, yep, come in. And like, even Vu and Hal, and there's a whole bunch of guys that have come through, and it's like, it's great to see all these people come, and like Draku, and there's I shouldn't have started naming people, because as soon as I name some and miss others, it's just going to ensue rage.
You monster.
Why didn't I get mentioned? It's like, yeah, we're happy with like all the streams, like daily, like seeing a stream pop up. It's like, oh wow, jump on there for a bit. Don't necessarily say anything, just let the trolls or whatever do the usual meme Twitch chat. But they were there lurking in the shadows, just watching, creepy in the corner. No, it's really cool to see, and especially like the competitions and people just running off on their own and doing stuff and getting excited. Yeah, really happy with that.
So it's,
That stuff's cool, but also for me it's pretty proud to actually put out like a 1.0 product. You gotta remember, we kind of started years and years ago just out of hours messing around. Let's make this game, man. It's gonna be fun, and we just did whatever we wanted. It was kind of cool. It started very casual with no community, no stress. We just messed around, did whatever we needed to, and that's changed a lot over the years. But it's been a long journey. But to be able to take a product with just infinite ambition and actually rope it into a product we can deliver on and actually deliver it, it's a pretty cool moment.
cool. Do you guys have a kind of a celebration party at the end, or have you not got to that point yet?
Haven't really got to that. Like we've
I don't
kind
know
of
when the end is.
Yeah, it's kind of been a weird launch. Like we launched, it's like, yeah, we launched, but then overnight, activity just skyrocketed, and
It's more like, it's more like a soft launch.
Right. Okay.
It's not like a studio where it's like, okay, we launched a product and we've dropped it. That's it. See you later. We've already pre-production on the next one. It's very different.
That seems to be the theme with a lot of games these days, to be fair as well, that, with this going patch cycle, rather than releasing like DLC discs, as we used to back in the 90s, development is kind of always onward.
That's it. What do they call it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like you're running a service, you're hosting a service for forever, and you're constantly growing it. It's kind of how you do it these days.
Yeah, we could be really dirty and do season passes. Isn't that the new buzz?
I think so, yeah.
The new hotness, yeah. Pay and you get access for this amount of time.
Buy your ticket.
Yep. You have X amount of time for X amount of money.
X amount of rockets.
Yeah. Yeah, we joke that like people want to like pay, it's like per spray and per taunt and all this sort of stuff. It's like, alright then, you're going to pay per rocket. Per plasma shot, there you go.
Oh dear. So to wrap up, what are the future plans for Turbo Pixel Studios as a whole? I know before you were joking, and I don't know how seriously, about another game possibly after Reflex. Is this at all on the horizon at the moment, or what are the general plans for the studio?
Just
for the
polish
short term,
Reflex for the moment.
It's exactly right. We're looking at finessing and polishing Reflex and adding some more features and really growing it further. That's where our focus is at the current time.
Yeah, like our in our task management stuff, our list of tasks is probably, I don't know, we've probably got 2 years worth of work easily lined up. So yeah, we've got no shortage of stuff to pick and choose from.
So you're kind of saying another game isn't on the cards right now?
No.
Okay.
No. There you go.
Okay.
Don't like to say no, but yeah, sorry, no.
Cool.
Reflex is where it's at.
I think that pretty much wraps up all the questions I've had. Is there anything you want to say for yourselves, anything that I've not asked that you'd like to get out there to the Reflex community and the entire world, as it were?
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
it.
much.
Is that it?
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do.
Nah, big thanks to the community. Like, that's what made the product what it is through the early access cycle. It was brutal and it was a blessing at the same time. Yeah, it's been great. Met a lot of people as well, which is really exciting. So, yeah, pretty excited where we can go from here.
Yeah, that sums it up. It's good.
He's good, man.
Cool.
Feels good, man.
Awesome.
Thanks, bro.
All right. Guess I'll wrap up the actual video here. Thanks for watching. It has been enlightening to myself. I hope it's been an enjoyable experience for all. And we'll have more content for you very soon. Thank you very much, and goodbye. Bye. Bye.